All right. How's everybody doing today? Again, I'm used to the I speak at the Glacier Clinics. I was just in Boston actually talking about this, but we're going over RPOs. I know this is Pro Guns scheme, but we've run RPOs now. This past year we were more shotgun wing T-ish, but ultimately what we did was we put in a lot of rocket toss concepts. But my name is Garrett Lucas. I'm the head football coach at Rancocas Valley Regional High School. It's a Group 5 school in New Jersey, so we have about 2,400 kids. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, PA, so I'm not a true Jersey guy, more of a Western PA guy. But I just think this is awesome, that this clinic. I know a lot of people are jumping on. Yeah, I've seen some guys from down south, and then even up here a little bit north. But just in general, the biggest thing is if you can take at least one thing away, it's definitely a win. I know for a fact I got the main RPO that we use, I got from Kirk Shiraka when he was out at Minnesota. And, it's just something that we were able to tinker with, and it's completely changed our offense just because it's helping us be a little bit more explosive, which obviously that's the name of the game, and, trying to score as many points as we can. So I saw this quote. I saw it first about 4 years ago. I mean, who does not love Nick Sabin? Unless if you're a diehard like Georgia fan or something like that. But he said once that it's easier to play RPO when teams run zone. So we are a gap scheme team. So we run power, we run counter, stretch, trap. We don't run inside or outside zone. We have in the years past. I was a Division I offensive lineman, so I fully love zone. If you have five, and again, this is not me saying what's right or what's wrong. I'm just saying what marries with each other very well. I personally believe, obviously, Nick Sabin believes a gap scheme. Zone, I just feel like, you got to have those 6'3" to 6'6" guys, 250 to 320, that can really get a vertical push. Where what are we doing? We're high school football, unless if we're like a Catholic powerhouse that's able to recruit all these, kids. We're going to have a kid on our offensive line from a time to two that might be, 5'10" to 6 foot, 190 to 210. So you can't get that vertical push. But what you can do is have down blocks and double teams that are going to ultimately open up more gaps. Now, with that said, is Nick Sabin, in this quote, he basically says that the gap scheme, all right, allows, like, let's take Buck Sweet. Got two guys pulling. Those backers, if they're keying the guards, they're moving with those linemen. So, you can really displace teams, and ultimately this becomes a cleaner read for your quarterback in that RPO look. So our next one's shoot. So this concept here, all right, we're running dart. We just call it ice, but we're running dart in terms of what would be play side here. And we're going to read this play side overhang, all right, force player, this backer, right? So we've got more of a 3-4 look that we're seeing this against. And again, the looks vary. I'm going to show you a clip that we just flat out, we check to just running this. There's no run action on the one clip I'm going to show you. We're just saying, hey, if we ran shoot here, it's open. So we called it. The kids got out. We broke the huddle with something else. We said, hey, check, shoot, and we told them which side to run it on, and it was wide open. But so we're taking a look here. So if you guys can slip, a more athletic, elusive kid there, and I'm just going to use examples like the Chiefs when they had Tyreek Hill. This was some of what they were doing. A lot of teams will do this with their tight end to get him the ball in space. We like to go ahead and let's get our more shifty athletic kids. So if you guys think from a true wing look, when we're in our true look, we've got our tight end in. He would be right next to our left tackle. This money would be over. Our Z is our other wing. So we just shift our guys around. So we could become 3x1. We could become 2x2. Heck, even 4x1 sometimes. But then also go back to what would be that traditional wing look. All right. So here we're going to be looking at the top of the screen, number 5. All right, we're reading this overhang. You're going to see here. So both guys, all right, number 2, meaning our second guy in, but he's actually number 12 right here. He has to go ahead and throttle down, all right? And you can see him fighting to get to that outside shoulder because he knows if this guy's catching the ball, he needs to catch and make a move. Now, coaching point, and we'll have an RPO period just like we had a screen period every 10, 15 minutes a day. What we're doing is if you see your buddy's numbers, all right, you see his numbers, his butt right here, then you go ahead, cut, and take that and go right up north, all right? So you can see he rocks inside. All right, ball slightly behind. Adjust, easy touchdown, okay? But you can see, all right, why I run an RPO. See how we're getting now? Watch the safety, watch the backers. We're getting them to stay in the box. Allowing your playmakers that, step or 2 steps will give you guys that edge. That way we can go ahead and take advantage of it. And at the end of the day, so some of the ones I'm showing you are touchdowns, but let's move the ball. Let's keep the ball. There's nothing more, I think, beneficial than when you have those 16 to 18 play drives. Like, that's demoralizing as a defense. Like, all right, you give up that the touchdown on a long drive, okay, where it's like, oh man, and then that way, hopefully you're not on defense as much. But I love being on offense. So this was the one I was talking about. So there is no true run action here. Okay, we just gave her protection. We told our our tight end to run a corner backside. That way he can occupy that safety. But you're going to see here, all right, there was no threat when we lined up in this was a halftime adjustment that we said, hey, when we come back out and we're going to run this look, all right, we didn't call it right away in the game. We probably called it late third, but there was nobody on our number 3. Okay, so there was no read key here. So we just knew, hey, if we can get, all right, 2-on-2, 1-on-1, should work out, right? Let's see. So you can see the quarterback, he just catches the ball and he just tries to work outside just to get it and dump it out to him a little bit, okay? But then again, guys in space, all right? I do have to point this out, but this is where, obviously, and you got to give love to the guys up front, but when you get receivers that are committing to each other, especially in the RPO looks, because you're getting the ball to the X, the one receiver, number 2, whatever it is, but you got to tell them that they are all in this together. If they all block for each other, then they all get that rock and everybody's going ahead and, ultimately scoring and celebrating together. But you can see here, like, I mean, you're driving a kid around and doing that. What corner is going to want to come up in a run fit now? Not many. So, all right, we're running shoot to the field here. Ball's going to be slightly behind again. All right, you can just see he should be putting that on what would be towards the field. All right, that way he can just catch and turn off. But you can see here, I love this. You can see they're not racing out of their stance. What would be, now this is our tight end that we put out here. We do that with intention because ultimately that's a corner getting blocked by a tight end. Okay, so again, it's just manipulating some guys. When I was in high school and college, they would always have our Y as like number 3 in the look. So just imagine if he were to be here, we put him out here because now, we have athletes what would be in the box for something like this where you're getting that mismatch and you can take advantage of these things. All right. So both 1 and 2 do a great job of blocking. But again, gain of 17, as a coach, you're never going to complain about these things. All right. So now we're running counter into the boundary. All right. Shoot to the field. So you can see here, right? We're just taking a look and we're going to read what would be this well backer right here. Once your feet are stopped and you're even, okay, we say, hey, our guy's leaving, right? So that means that we've got our guy already moving. He can't catch up with him, all right, and actually make a play on the ball. I mean, he could pursue the tackle short, but dump it out, all right? Gain of what, 12? Okay.